laws are supreme, laws should not be limiting strictures, they should be empowering platforms. So over to Firdaus. So she's going to be discussing how can you leverage the various laws to become better at what you do and not get scared of laws. Even I come from a family of lawyers, and so the laws of the land and laws of the universe and laws of individuals, how can you map all of them and become better at what you do? How she became better. Legally.
Anshuman. I mean, the way he introduced me, in fact, he was introducing law and a lawyer. So it was very beautiful. Now, I was just having a word with a friend here, and I was telling her that most of the conventions or programs I'm invited to, I'm told to talk about law and women. Reason is very obvious that I am a lawyer. Unfortunately, sometimes I find it very difficult to talk about law and women. And the reason is that there are laws to protect women, but not enough. Now, I have been told that in the second session of this convention, an acid survivor is coming, Miss Lakshmi. She's a woman who was just 15 years of age and a person threw acid on her face and actually ruined her life. But what she did, she took it as something which was she destined to. And she came forward, filed a public interest litigation. She knocked doors of the Supreme Court of India and made it to pass such guidelines that the Parliament was compelled to come up with an act which is called Lakshmi Act, and because of which sale of acids in the open market was restricted, use of acid, and other laws to protect women against this violence was formulated. All this happened, why? If this woman who was actually just because she did not want to marry a certain guy, so acid was thrown at her face and the man was very happy that he has ruined her life forever. If this woman, but at the same time, what I feel and believe in is giving away your right is the biggest sin. You're giving away your right. जिसके लिए इतना लड़े, अमेंडमेंट आया, भाई को दे दो प्रॉपर्टी, नहीं चाहिए. फादर से शादी कराई, इतना सब कुछ तो दे दिया, एहसान किया क्या? So no हिस्सा in property. So this law is also gone. Nothing. Now, these days we see, I'm not saying this because I'm a follower of Islam. I'm saying this because I'm seeing this every day on television. They're talking about triple talaq. Again, they're saying that a woman, her right is being violated. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware about this, that there is already law in place. I think it's Hussain Ara, or I will give you the citation. I will recollect it. Supreme Court passed a judgment wherein they said that triple talaq is wrong. It's only one talaq. In Muslims, it's that when you want to divorce your wife, you will have to say talaq thrice, not at once, but with a gap of 3 months period. Like you say talaq, and then after 1 month, you again say it, and then in between it's possible maybe the husband and wife reconcile. So they said that this triple talaq, saying talaq thrice at once, is not as per Quran, and it's only one talaq, so it's not a talaq, it's not a divorce. So long time back, Supreme Court has already passed this judgment. And I find all these stupid people sitting there in the debates not knowing about it. So there is no awareness about all this, no awareness about law. I see that these burqa-clad women coming on the screens, and I don't know if they are paid, and saying कि हमारे साथ ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है. And nobody is telling them that there is already law. And even Quran says so. So the problem is with regards to awareness. Now somebody also asked me, although this is not the occasion, but I would like to tell you about. I've just thought, okay, this is what had to happen to me, and now no marriage, no life, and she would have gone and committed suicide, or maybe she was sitting in some corner or something. Today this law would not have been there. The law which we have today, maybe the implementation is not that great, but this law is there to protect women against this offense. Only because she came forward, and because of which this law came up. So I was saying that I sometimes find it difficult and painful to talk about women in law, only because of this, that we know that women is looked down, she's harassed, she's tortured. In fact, it's said by one of a famous person that women was the first human being who tasted the bondage of slavery. She is the first slave in this universe. We know that we are looked down, we are harassed, our rights are violated. But what do? बेटा ये तो सहना पड़ता है, लड़की हो, ये तो होता ही है, करना पड़ता है. A woman is raped, and then what happens? Our country has laws. It's not new that only after Nirbhaya that we have laws with regards to rape. Rape law is there since the Britishers were ruling our country. But nobody was coming forward. A woman is raped, so instead of treating her as a victim, she is treated as somebody who has committed a crime, an offense. She's looked down. Even in the case of Lakshmi, if acid was thrown at her, she was looked down. that if a guy was pursuing her, she should have said yes. And it's very common, like if a girl complains at home and she says that I'm being teased by XYZ, so she is told, beta, koi baat nahi, bas aaram se ja karo, jawab mat dena, and all these things. Parents, they don't go to police for filing complaints. I agree that a number of times it has happened that police, they don't cooperate with you. But then there are provisions. If a police officer is not cooperating with you, you go to the superintendent of police. If he is not, then you go to the commissioner of police. If he is not cooperating with you, you go to the magistrate. Now, why to take all these efforts? It's better. Being teased, ठीक है, कुछ दिन बाद ठीक हो जाएगा. So that has led to this, that we don't make laws for the protection of women. And the laws that are already there in the place, they're non-effective. Pandit Nehru, although right now we are under the BJP regime, so not supporting any of the parties, independent of that, I'm just saying that Pandit Nehru said at one of his, during one of his lectures, he said that a condition of nation, that how a nation is progressing or how a nation is, can be actually told by looking at its women. If in a nation, women is protected, she is walking down the lanes without fear, she is working in an organization without this feeling that she is being discriminated, that a man who is working at the same post that she is working at is being paid more than her. If she is not working with this feeling, and no advances or sexual favors are being sought from her at her working place, then we can say that yes, the women of our nation, that these women are protected and they are free and liberal and empowered. I mean, it's not only me who is living in this nation, all of us are here. And we know the condition and the situation of women in our country. So what Pandit Nehru said, so you can actually correlate to that and understand that what kind of nation we have, where we are. There was this woman because of which Vishaka guidelines came up. This woman was gang raped while she was at her workplace. Workplace does not only mean a big MNC type building or some school or hospital and all. Workplace is also, if I am a landowner and I hire some women to work on my field, on my land, so that land becomes their workplace because they're working there. So in case of Vishaka, the same thing happened. She was working at the field and she was gang raped at the workplace. I do not want to go into details of that case because every time I talk about that case, I'm not able to stop my tears. So instead of going into details, I will just tell you that this woman thereafter, once she was gang raped, and this is very common, that a woman who is raped is at the fault. She's not the victim. She is the one who has committed crime. She should not have been wearing such kind of clothes that she was wearing. She should not have gone to that place. What was the need to go to work? What was the need to walk down the street? What was the need? She should have stayed at home. So, she was treated very badly once she was raped. Thereafter, she said no, she wants to fight. And she fought, which compels Supreme Court to pass guidelines for women at working place. See, it's not that India is a backward country. I don't really agree with this. When in 2016, all our eyes were at the United States of America, where a woman, Hillary Clinton, and Mr. Trump, the President of United States of America, were fighting. All eyes were on US, and everybody wanted that this time the president should be a woman. In my country, it has already passed. There was a woman president, there was a woman prime minister. And then I was sitting in such, like this gathering only, and we had a woman working for Democrats in US. And while having word with her, okay. And while having word with her, she said that we know that Hillary is a qualified person. She's a senator. She is a lawyer. She is much more qualified than Trump. But she won't be a president. Because America can't see being ruled by a woman. I was surprised at that point of time. I did not say anything. I went back to my home and I gave it a thought, and I realized that India is a country where we never had to fight for the voting rights. This is a country where the Constitution came into place and right to vote was given to everybody. No discrimination. And US is a country where they fought. And in fact, this word feminist came from there only. Feminist. They had to fight for the voting rights. So I don't really consider our country backward in that sense. We are much more ahead. If I don't really think, or if I don't see this, that women who are suffering our country and they're shying away and they're not coming forward, then yes, our country is something which it doesn't need any more empowerment. That's the only thing that's lacking in our country. Now, when this woman came to Supreme Court and it was found that she was gang raped at a workplace, Supreme Court, it was lost. The judges were lost because there was no law in place for protection of women at their working places. There may be several reasons. And what I understand is that because our women, they don't go forward, they just think that if they will tell people or they will come forward and say that they were raped or they were molested or they were abused, then people will raise fingers at them, nobody will marry them, nobody will talk to them. But what I feel is that if a woman is harassed, her rights are violated, her body is violated, she should come forward, being without selfish. Because whatever she had to suffer, she has already faced it. Now, if Lakshmi or this Vishaka thing, if it would not have come forward, both of them would not have come forward, today we would not have been having Vishaka guidelines for the protection of women at workplaces. Today we would not have been having legislations for the protection against the acid attacks. It's not new that acid attacks were new. Although in 2013 she filed this PIL, because in 2006 I remember she was attacked. So before that also acid attacks were there. Before Vishaka guidelines came up, or she was gang raped, before that also women were being gang raped at workplaces, sexual favors were being sought from them at workplaces. Woman was not promoted until and unless she sleeps with the boss. So all these things were there, but only because we don't come forward, that leads to the backwardness of our nation, which it actually is not. Now, Supreme Court came up with the guidelines, and thereafter, number of people realized that actually it's very important to have some guidelines at the workplace. Thereafter, in 2013, they came up with a law, protection of women against sexual harassment at the workplace, in which these guidelines which were given in the Vishaka judgment were put as sections, as a law, complete law. Today, if an organization is not complying with those laws and rules, they're asked to pay fine of rupees 50,000, which I understand is less, but it is there. Now, they also say that in case they don't comply with these guidelines, then their business licenses can also be taken away. So that's also there. In an organization, they formulate, as per this act, they formulate a complaints committee, which is presided by a woman, and almost 50% of the members are females in this. It's compulsory. And one of the women has to be either from an NGO or a lawyer. Now, I am myself heading number of these committees in different organizations. When this act came into place, and I also became member of some of the committees, I somewhere felt that this is so nice, this is so good, that now we have this law, and there are a number of females who are being harassed at the workplace. Maybe their colleagues are troubling them. Maybe their bosses are troubling them. Many a times what happens that if you are not adhering to or saying yes to one of your colleagues or one of your bosses or heads, they stop giving you work. They start spreading rumors about you. They create an environment which is hostile. Now, because I said that workplace is not only an MNC or the Supreme Court where I work. Workplace is also your home, where you have employed a maid or a cook or a governess. So it's workplace for them. So if I am telling you about some guidelines, it's not only for your bosses, it's also for all of you. And it's to be seen that if this particular woman who is working at a house or maybe in some office, that the environment that she's working into is not hostile. So the Act says that if the environment is hostile, she is getting mentally disturbed. Favors are being sought from her, which she doesn't want to consent to. Against her will, her body is being violated. Then this particular committee, in the particular organization, she can approach it. Now, in case of a maid or a cook or some servant or employee at a household, for that, we have a local committee in that area, which is of police officers. So, a complaint can be made to them. And then these people look into the details of the complaint. Now, there is also a rule that if a woman is being troubled at the workplace and she files a complaint, maybe post-filing complaint, she is not treated well at the office. She is afraid of the respondent, of the accused, whom she has named. Or she is not comfortable going to the office because everybody knows now, although it is something which has to be kept confidential, but we understand, practically it's not possible. So she can be actually asked to stay at home for some time, and she has to be paid also. That is one. Second, the person against whom she has filed complaint, that person should be transferred to some other place. That can be also done. Because you have to make this woman feel comfortable. Now, what I have felt is that all this is very good. Complaints are filed, complaints are looked into, then accused is also given rights to submit his, whatever he wants to say, his defense. And then we reach to a result. In case it's found that woman has made a false claim, because we were having this discussion once that post-Nirbhaya case, that we should have this law, a person who has raped, he should be hanged till death. This is what everybody was saying. Now, because I am practicing in this field, and we see number of cases and number of people, I somewhere felt that maybe somebody will file a false claim against someone. That's also possible. What in that case? So I think that may be the reason because of which still government and courts are thinking about it, whether to make capital punishment for rape or not. Because there are pros and cons of everything. So, with regards to this particular act for protection of women at working place, they also formulated a rule which says that if a complaint filed by the woman is false, then she will be taken to the task. She should be thrown out. She should be handed over to the police. Because it should not happen that she feels if boss, because of whatever financial reasons, is not hiking her pay, she goes and files a false complaint. I think we have this movie Aitraz also. So, see, sometimes it's that I am a woman, I should not be saying things against, but then there are goods and bads of both the things. Now, all this law is there and penalties are also there and everything is there. In fact, before this came into place, even Constitution has number of articles in it, Article 14, 19, 15. Even Article 21, which says that right to decent life and liberty. Gender equality is already there in the Constitution. But unfortunately, what has happened, while I was heading one of this Internal Complaints Committee, I found that initially the woman came and she filed a complaint. She was being pursued by one of her colleagues, followed everywhere. In office, there were false rumors against her. This man was spreading those rumors. All these things were happening with her. And she was not even able to work, to focus on her work. She was completely troubled, and then somebody told her that you should file your complaint to the Internal Complaints Committee. Very well, nice. She did it. But after some time, when we were just closing that inquiry and we understood that, yes, this woman is not lying and it's correct whatever she's saying, she called me up and she said that, I want to withdraw my complaint. Without asking her reasons, I said, see, if you're withdrawing, then we will understand that it was a false complaint. Then we will initiate inquiry against you. She said, no, it's not a false complaint, but I am only daughter having a mother who has brought me up single-handedly. I don't have a brother. I don't have a father. And this boy will spoil it for me. If he will be thrown out of the organization, or if he's transferred, or if his pay is reduced, he will ruin my life. I tried to make her understand that we will file complaint with the police and we will have this thing recorded that in case something happens to you or to your family, he will be the reason, and we will get it in writing from him that he will stay away from you. We will get restraint orders from the court and everything. She said, no, nahi ma'am, nahi karna hai. I could not help it. It's her life. So I felt at that point of time that, yes, this law is there to protect her. But at the end of the day, what's happening? What Monica said, that you think about yourself, but we are not thinking about ourselves. So she dropped it there. And at the initiation of this act in 2013, I could see that every month I was handling almost 4 to 5 cases of sexual harassment at workplace. But gradually, it all reduced. And whenever there used to be a call, ma'am, mein complaint aaya hai aur us pe karna hai or this and that, and after a few days they used to call and, oh, it's withdrawn. Because women, they feel that if they will file a complaint, then their life is gone. कौन पुलिस के चक्कर लगाएगा फिर? भाई रास्ते में पकड़ के मार दिया, फिर क्या करेंगे? घर पे, अब many women, they are married. It's not necessary that only young unmarried women are teased. We have such beautiful, lovely women are sitting here. Some of them married. So men, they have right to tease anyone. So husbands, they are reluctant. They don't want their women, their wives to pursue it. Brothers don't want their sisters to pursue it. I remember one more case where this girl, she was well qualified. She had worked with some American company also. And in India, a lady boss did not like her. So she left out some of her dogs behind her, troubling and teasing her. She was even taken to a room where there were no cameras, and she was manhandled. We were just at the brink of winning that case, but she also said, my brother is saying, you are unmarried, nobody will marry you. If you will only write this sentence, or if only we will tell this, or somebody will come to know that one of your colleagues held your hand like this, or you were called in a room where there were no cameras, all alone. I said, but you were manhandled, you were abused. Aren't you feeling bad about it? Don't you want to punish these guys? She said, nahi ma'am. Brother is saying, no, don't do it. Again gone. So why I am telling you all this is that there are so many laws in place already, but we are not using them. So when we write these, there are these online petitions, Change.org, and all this for protection of women and all. It actually irritates me. Because once it even comes in place, nobody takes benefit from it. Nobody comes forward. We are afraid. We have a life coach here, and she must have seen so many people that the society is full of fear. This was the reason why sometimes I hate talking about law and women. Now, if we talk about personal laws, there is this, in 2006, if I remember it correctly, a law came into place with regards to Hindu succession laws, wherein it was that a girl has equal right in property as a boy. Because before that, girls were not having right in the property. So it was a beautiful change, such a nice thing, that girls will also get right in the property. But we find women waving it. अरे भाई है, भाई को दे दो सब. I'm not saying that you should not support your brothers about this. Somebody even asked me that why is this triple talaq at all there? Because Islam is a religion where you have all the laws in place. So it was told that during rule of one of the Khalifa, Hazrat Umar, women came to him and they complained. They said, because in our religion we have this talaq thing with 3 months period gap. So men, what they do, they say, तुमको तलाक दे दिया मैंने, तुमको तलाक दिया मैंने 100 बार दिया, 3 बार दिया, 4 बार दिया, but वो तलाक नहीं होता है. That is not divorce, because you have to say it with gap, otherwise it's not divorce. They say we feel humiliated, because then it's not divorce, we are staying with them. So he also got furious about it. So he said, if they say ek baar, do baar diya, if they say 3 baar diya, it's divorce. Then you can't go back to them. And they will realize what they are saying. And they can't treat you like this. So he gave this ruling. And once people started, one of the men, he said, 100 baar talaq diya. Wife took up everything and she said, as per the new ruling, we are divorced now. I can't stay with you. And all of a sudden, husband realized, oh my God, I have lost her for life. That was the reason which he came up with at that point of time. But today, it's being misinterpreted, misconceived, and misused. So today, it is not there at all, actually. Now, who knows about it? There is no awareness. Today, I had word with regards to laws about working women. I don't know how many of you were aware about it, or how many of people known to you are aware about it. And I don't know, God forbid, amongst us, if somebody will have such kind of problem, how many of us are going forward and complaining about it? I don't think there are many. And if this keeps on going, then we will never be able to fulfill what Pandit Nehru said. Or maybe the picture he wanted. I think the answer to this, that what kind of a nation we are living in, is, it's pathetic. It's not backward. It's not that we don't have laws. It's not that we don't have education. I think most of the intellectual people in this world are from our country. Visa issue in USA. Why are Indians getting troubled? Because all intellectuals are there from India. I don't remember somebody like Indira Nooyi ruling in some other country. I have not heard about any woman like Indira Gandhi. I mean, we have so much in us, but at the same time, we are shallow. We don't have anything in us. So today, I have got this opportunity to be here and tell you all, do what Monica said. Think about yourself, and at the same time, also think that whatever step you will take, it's going to benefit number of people at the same time. If I raise my voice, then others will also get that courage to raise their voice. Empowerment is something that's for everyone. And for that, all of us have to think about everyone and at the same time for ourselves. So laws and everything, it will come up only once we speak up and once we actually think of implementing. Otherwise, it's of no use. I think I have taken extra time. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
The next speaker is going to talk about how does the environment, the universe around us, speaks to us. And as Firdaus said, speak up. Monica is going to talk about how do you energy up. So she is a relationships expert. She's a counselor about life challenges and how you leverage the universe energy to do better, whatever you want to do. And also, it's not just doing better, but also being calm when you face with all kinds of challenges. I mean, you have to come to a women's forum to see a smattering of kids, as well as grown-ups, males, as well as girls. So it's a fantastic forum. And so Monica is going to talk about how to use different parts of the environment around us, various events around us, to connect to that energy level, positive energy, and to raise your own level. Over to Monica Makar.
Beautiful people, I'm glad to be a part of you today. Women empowerment, the success, the yin energy, the Shakti, wow, amazing. Hats off to all you women who have recognized their power and chose the life you want to lead. You talk about time management, efficiency, confidence, skills, you have it all. I always tell my 14-year-old daughter that woman is compared to Mother Earth, the symbol of courage, strength, compassion, love, patience, all in one. But unfortunately, as you know, that the Mother Earth is being challenged and needs to be protected. So does the woman today. The stress, anxiety, depression, competition has gone so high that I feel somewhere the balance is lost. I keep on hearing about the challenges which woman has to face from the family, outside world, but I feel there is one more challenge which is even very difficult and dangerous, is that the conflict she has within herself. which she needs to prioritize, the self quality she needs to put herself first is very important. Material wealth, I think, is a very important content that leads to a very comfortable journey. But there is more to success. Your good health, your creative freedom, then your fulfilling relationships, and most of all, your peace of mind. I think that plays a major role in making you comfortable with your own self. As a counselor, so many women come to me from different phases of life and from different fields, and they talk about some common issues, which are like some women who are very ambitious and they do not have a proper support system. They have young children, maybe in the age group of 9 months or 2 months, 2-year-old, and I keep on reading it on different forums also. The mothers keep on discussing how to step out of the house, whether they should work or they shouldn't work. Then there are women I meet, they have a lot of time in their hand. Their kids are grown up, and but now they do not know how to go ahead with their life because they're so much used to giving, and somewhere they have stopped the connection with themselves, that they don't know what they are interested in. So somewhere they are lost. And definitely there are women, working women, who have challenges and conflicts with their colleagues and the pressures from the bosses. So if considered the few factors, if you consider them, the priority can be made. Like if your work leads to your passion, then definitely nobody can stop you. If it fulfills your passion, if it nurtures your soul, then you must go ahead. Then I feel that if your contribution is needed in the family financially, and you yourself want to become financially independent, then you should not think about it. You must work. And for the homemakers who wish to follow, who needs to become working, they should start with working, but they should not identify it as creating their own identity. They should not run after that they are creating their own identity, because serving other souls and nurturing them, if you are a happy soul, that is an identity in itself. And the leisure time, if they have any, they can always use it for their self-growth, for contributing in the society. When I was young, one day we were having a discussion in the class, and the teacher asked me, what do you want to become? Very innocently, I said, I want to become a homemaker and a good human being. And my friends laughed at me. That's not an ambition. And somewhere I knew that I don't have to wait another few years to do what I feel like, what makes me happy. Because I was already somewhere, I was doing that. I used to enjoy feeding the birds, watering the plants, then taking care of my grandmother, and babysitting my nephews. And when I started driving, this is something I will never forget and is very close to my heart. I just need to give me this. Yeah. Used to pick up all the old people from the colony and used to drop them to the temple. Then I used to look at the moon for hours and used to sing romantic numbers, and I felt that I need a companion. But now, at the age of 40, when everything is positive in my mind, I feel that this universe is my companion. I thoroughly enjoyed what I did, and I'm still enjoying everything. I have learned that when you look after the universe makes sure that you are being looked after and there are not much of struggles in your life. Then there are relationship issues, a relationship with your partner, your children, your in-laws, and so many friends, colleagues, so much of relationship issues with all of us. When I talk about relations, I read somewhere that you should know how to row the boat until and unless there is a hole in it. We need to accept the fact that we all are unique. We all have our own perceptions, our own opinions, and we meet like-minded people, unlike-minded people, but unfortunately, if those unlike-minded people are close to us, we need to understand that we need to develop more of understanding towards them and respect their opinions. Because we don't need a photocopy of our own selves. We need different people Like in the garden, you have all the colors of flowers, not just one color. So that makes up for the variety of people, because they are working towards their own journey. Their souls are doing their own work. So we should not interfere and try and change other people. Now, I will share one example with you. One of my very close friends, she is a very hygiene conscious person, extremely hygiene conscious. So she always used to tell me, like, I don't like people who walk barefoot. So she always used to tell me that my husband is like that, and I keep on complaining, and he never listens to me. Then I told her, see, I am the same. It's not that I'm unhygienic or I'm lazy, but I still walk barefoot because there is some other perception which I hold, is that when I walk barefoot, I feel the energy of the earth entering in my body. I feel charged up. So that's the outlook I have. Definitely, when you go to bed, you need to wash your feet, but her constant nagging was creating a difference between, those two partners, which shouldn't be there. An issue, a small issue, which leads to, हम जब बात करना शुरू करते हैं तो पता नहीं कहाँ से कहाँ तक बात चली जाती है. Then there are more things about understanding. Like, I'm an early person, morning person, and my husband is a night person. Initially complaining, everything happened and didn't work out. The solution did not come out. When I increased my understanding that that's the way of him, of enjoying his life, celebrating his life. He's a happy soul. And I too am a happy soul, and I enjoy my morning prayers and meditation. And if somebody tells me, don't do that, so I will be frustrated, I will be suffocated. And in the similar manner, if I stop him from doing something which he enjoys, that would be so unfair. So both the happy souls decided together to give this good amount of space to each other and make a happy environment in the house. So that is very important for us to understand. Then there could be more causes of stress, which we all now know, but little reminders are always important, Like, you should not try to please others. Please, please, please don't do that, ever. My dadi used to say, आप किसी को सोने का महल भी बना के दे दो, जिसने खुश नहीं रहना वो नहीं खुश रहेगा. आप जितना मर्जी उसके ऊपर टाइम, एनर्जी उस पर लगाओ, और आप किसी को एक छोटा सा मिठाई का डब्बा देंगे तो वो आपको पसंद करता है और वो खुश रहने की आदत रखता है, तो वो पता नहीं कितनी ब्लेसिंग्स आपको, कितनी एप्रिसिएशन देगा और हमेशा आपको खुशी से याद रखेगा.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to India's first corporate news channel. We invite interviews, articles, press releases from your organization. Visit our portal www.indianconventions.com. Thank you.